Alter Brugge en Blankenberge als eindbestemming. Eerstvolgende halte Gent Sint-Pieters. Mesdames, Messieurs, bienvenue dans le train ici à destination de Blankenberge. Ce train fera Régon Saint-Pierre, halte Bruges Blanc.
It's January 11th, 2024, and we're departing Brussels Midi just as the sun comes up over Brussels. We're on our way to Bruges, after which we'll make a stop at Ghent on the way back to Brussels. Both Bruges and Ghent are famous for their history, their museums, and their large amount of medieval architecture. We'll get to see some of that as we explore the tram system within Ghent, which takes you along a lot of old medieval streets. But first, we're on our way to Bruges. SNCB, the state railroad operator within Belgium, operates a very frequent number of services between Brussels and Bruges. I started my morning in Brussels Midi, which was really close to my hotel. Brussels Midi is the largest station in Belgium and is the originating point for many services headed to all points of the country. I was able to purchase my ticket for 15 euros from the vending machine with a student discount. Despite every single sign in Brussels Midi being in either French or Dutch, I was able to find my way to the platform immediately as this ticket machine tells you when the next departure will be and from which track that'll be, which is an awesome wayfinding feature that I think many other railroads should take note of. I didn't have an official schedule, but it looked like there were anywhere between 3 to 6 departures per hour headed towards Bruges, with more frequent departures headed to Ghent. We're aboard in the M6 train set in standard class. Above, there is a tray table, and on the side, there is a power outlet as well as a trash bin. In this part of the world, the seats have trash bins next to each seat in a small compartment. There's also a sunshade and a reading light above. The seats were large and had ample legroom, which was a welcome change from the Eurostar that I was stuck on for 2 hours prior to this. I found every single Belgian train that I got to ride, which was a good number of them, to be extremely roomy and very comfortable and quiet, which was actually a better quality train ride than a lot of the trains I had just been on in the UK. From what I could tell, the M6 train set is used within longer distance services in the country, long distance being relative as Belgium is a really small country, and the M7 is the newest version of this train set, which we'll get a chance to ride later in this video. Our train pulls into Ghent on the way to Bruges. On another track, a Class 19 pulls a locomotive-hauled passenger service in the same direction as us. I wasn't ever really sure which services would be locomotive-hauled versus EMU-hauled. In this video, I only got to ride EMUs, but in the next video where I took a train to Antwerp, I did get to ride one of those locomotive-hauled services.
Reizigers naar Antwerpen-Zuid mogen niet instappen in de laatste 2 rijtuigen. De eerste klasplaatsen bevinden zich in het 4e rijtuig. Centraal, Brussel Noord en Brussels Airport Zaventem. De eerste klasplaatsen bevinden zich in het derde en vierde rijtuig.
After some sightseeing and a walking tour in Bruges, we're back on the train, this time headed to Ghent, a short 40-some-odd minute trip to Ghent in the M7 train. The M7 is the newer version of the M6, and this time we're in one of the power cars. Besides a different seat pattern, the comforts of the M7 are pretty much the same as the M6.
Spoor 11, de L-trein naar Brugge en Zeebruggendorp van 15:45, spoor 11. 7 de IC-trein naar Poperingen en Nederland. Van 20 uur 36 komt zo dadelijk aan op spoor 7. Deze trein stopt in Waregem en Kortrijk. De eerste klasplaatsen bevinden zich in het eerste, tweede en laatste rijtuig. Deze trein bestaat uit 3 rijtuigen in plaats van 9. Onze excuses hiervoor.
After some rail fanning, sightseeing, and a trip to the Gravestein, we're back on board the train in Ghent on the way to Brussels. The trip to Brussels takes under an hour, and it was non-stop.
Saint-Pierre, de 20h49, partira de la voie 12 au lieu de voie 13. Ce train partira avec environ 35 minutes de retard. Ce train ne s'arrêtera exceptionnellement pas à Liedekerke, Denderleeuw.
De IC-trein naar Aalst en Ghent-Sint-Pieters van 20 uur 9.
Voie 21, le train IC à destination de Braine-l'Alleud et Charleroi Central. De 21h15, voie 21, les voyageurs à destination de Nivelles ne peuvent pas embarquer dans la dernière voiture.
Spoor 21, de IC-trein naar Eigenbrakel en Charleroi Centraal. Van 21 uur 15, spoor 21. Reizigers naar Nijvel mogen niet instappen in het laatste rijtuig.
Saint-Pierre, de 21h19, voie 13. Ce train
Our train arrived back at Brussels on time. At Brussels, I got a chance to do a little bit of train spotting before retiring for the night. SNCB, through my entire trip in Belgium, was an awesome rail network to get to experience. The train services to pretty much every corner of the country are extremely frequent and extremely comfortable. Through my entire time in Belgium, I don't think I waited more than 20 minutes for any individual train, and that was me showing up randomly at train stations expecting there to be a direct train to wherever I was going. Additionally, I found that buying tickets was pretty easy. You just find a ticket machine, they're in English, you type in where you're going, and it prints out a ticket. Ticket prices don't fluctuate, so you can buy tickets up to the day of arrival, and you're not going to lose or miss out on a deal. And there was a pretty sizable student discount, which meant I didn't really pay more than 20 euros, which is about $20, more or less for a train ride. When compared with the experience that I had just had in the UK, the SNCB was a more comfortable and seemingly more frequent, definitely cheaper train option, which was really cool to see from an adjacent European country. While in Ghent, I did get the chance to experience the Belgian tram system, which runs through the majority of the heart of Ghent. Belgian runs a lot of buses and trams throughout the entire country of Belgium in cities such as Brussels, but it also runs bus services in Bruges and through most of the country. It also runs the trams in Antwerp, which we'll experience in another video. I did get confused with the ticketing system on Belgian in this video, and I think I screwed up buying a ticket on my first leg of the journey. I don't really remember what happened, but I definitely did not know how to use the validator. But after that, I was pretty much able to buy a ticket and use the tram system with ease. And in my next video in Antwerp, I did use a day pass to just ride the trams wherever, which ended up being a lot easier. Also in this video was some of the rail fanning that I got to do on this day. Some highlights include the Class 41, which is on your screen, as well as the Class 96, which has a large rubber bumper on the front. Lastly, at the end of the video, there was a Class 29 locomotive halt service making a trip to Amsterdam for NS Rail.